Hey everyone, wanted to do an update on these guys. Those are my Cardinal Bracchies, and they're my prized possession. I love this fish. It is a difficult fish to keep, I will tell you that. They are very active, very aggressive. They are kind of like your meanest farmhouse chickens. They pick on each other like there's no tomorrow. They chase, and there's a certain hierarchy in here in terms of male and female. And that's the queen female right there. I've got two subordinate females back there. I've got one male that is big, and he's the king male. And then there is one, just the runtiest little male, and I don't even know where he is half the time. He is just so picked on. He just hides constantly. But that hierarchy does seem to keep everything in order. And as long as the primary female's out and the primary male's out and everyone else is cowering in the corners, everyone seems to be happy enough. So this is a little bit of a hard update for me because this tank is very difficult to show. It's very jungly. What I've got is these DIY Java moss carpets, and what I've done is I've bent it up. So it starts here and it's one continuous piece, but it's got suction cups that allow it to kind of bend. And the thinking behind this is that I was trying to give this little area back in here, which for fry to hide, and there's obviously another duplicate on the other side, and then it gives me this free area in the middle where I've stacked 3 pieces of Java or Malaysian driftwood, and what I did is I went ahead and picked the 3 pieces that had the most holes and nooks and crannies, and then I just kind of stacked them on each other to make this big one large stump of a decoration. And all this was for 2 purposes. Number one, to kind of break up the line of sight for these fish. I had done some research, and everyone had said they kind of pick on each other a lot, so very similar to the hummingbirds outside in terms of kind of breaking up the line of sight. If you can have feeders for hummingbirds that they can't see from where they perch, you can have a lot more species in one, or quantity of birds in one backyard. And in the same way, I was hopeful that this kind of stump would give fish a break, place to hide, and that if the dominant male or female was on one side, that the other fish would kind of have some respite. And it does seem to be working very well. And then in the middle, obviously, I've got this piece of driftwood, and then I've got some guppy grass right here on top that I've kind of just shoved into this structure. And it's got its roots all kind of dangling in there, and it's kind of held in place. And again, to further prevent the adults from being able to hopefully get at the fry. And then I've got some salvinia floating up here, so it's kind of a dark tank. I didn't know when I set this up, obviously some live bearers, it seems like their fry, when they're in that post drop phase and kind of that vulnerable state, they go right to the bottom. And then some kind of go right up to the top. So I didn't know what to expect with these bracchies. I was hopeful that the fry would go to the bottom, but I didn't know. It seemed like with my platies, all the fry, when they were kind of in that, I don't want to move, I'm just so vulnerable, and I'm about to be eaten at any moment, they all went to the top, and they were hiding in amongst the water lettuce or the salvinia. So that's why I've got some salvinia in there. I could probably pull it out now, but I do like, they seem to like the shade. They seem to like this just kind of tight quarters swampiness. And you can see the female, she runs the show. She tells the males what to do. She tells the females what to do. There's the other male, and he has just never developed. That poor guy. Look at him. He's as old as all of these fish, but he is half the size. So, poor little guy. But he is important to the whole dynamic of this colony. So, anyways, all that to say, I do have some fry. I've spotted fry in here, and I'm pretty cautiously optimistic. I don't know that I can find any for you, especially with this camera being on my phone and never wanting to focus on very close things. But I counted about a dozen the other day. I do think that the female is, or maybe all of them, but mostly the dominant female. I do believe she's picking off a few, unfortunately. But this fish is very difficult. I tried putting the females that were very, very gravid into a birth box, the kind that hangs on the side and is powered. I felt it was too stressful for them. They're just far too active. You can see she's trying to go for a fry right there. There was one that was hiding in the Java moss, and she almost nailed him. So the other thing is, so they were very active. I felt that the being in the birthing box was just far too stressful for this fish. They just race. They even a 10-gallon tank. I think if I could move them, I would. I would like to do them in probably a 20-gallon long, but I just don't have, in terms of space in my home, I don't have room for a 20-gallon long. I'm going to have to wait till kids grow up and move out. And I'm sure a lot of you are in the same place where you can only handle so many tanks until your family screams. But this is a beautiful fish. I would not recommend it for everyone. In fact, I didn't necessarily know what I was getting into when I bought it. I did, kind of. I was looking for something that was a little bit more difficult than the portholes or the orange lines. But it is a challenge. I will give you that. And I'm excited that I've got fry, but I don't know if any of them ultimately will make it into adulthood. If they don't, what I will do is the next round of fry, I will try to rescue them out. And with a tank like this, it's not easy. I can either remove the parents or I can remove the fry. And I have a feeling that my best bet is probably to try to siphon the fry, get them out, and move them to another tank. So if any of you have experiences with difficult live bearers, please comment and let me know what you think, what your suggestions would be, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, everyone, bye-bye.